Well, that was great.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 5.
I know.
Episode 5 of Parlour Tea. I'm Genevieve.
I'm John.
Even though we're back, we're flipped on there.
She's John and I'm Genevieve.
Good luck with all that.
Hi, how are you?
Good luck with all that. So I am so excited for our guest tonight.
I am too, very much so. But first off, I just wanted to say we just broadcast that on our new live. Thank you, Rick Palmer, for putting for the new Parlour Tea intro. But yes, very excited to have Sophie here.
Yeah, we should have an honorary Rick.
Yes, like just a little figure.
Like the skeleton.
Yeah,
honorary Rick and an honorary Danny. Yeah. Okay, should we bring Sophie in?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll let her introduce herself.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, welcome to Parlour Tea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
We're excited.
That too.
Like little kids at Christmas.
Yes, very much
every
so.
episode. Would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Sophie Wescott. For any of you that don't know who I am, I'm the co-owner of the Convent Tattoo and Body Piercing located in Deptford, New Jersey, which is considered South Jersey. Yeah, we also own America's Most Haunted Tattoo Shop.
That is
awesome.
Cool.
It is.
We'll put your banner running down there.
Yes.
There you go. We have so many questions.
Yeah. So, by the way, I wore these to fit with the aesthetics of being with you.
Love it.
They're little nose things, but I call them other things, but I don't know if I should say that online. Prince Albert's. Anyway.
We have comments already. Let's say hello.
But you keep doing that.
Well,
you're going to spill my
then
drink.
Don't put your thing there.
There's Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
So,
thank you, Elizabeth.
Let's go and ask you some questions.
Hi, real quick. Hi, Sarah.
Okay.
And one more.
Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Okay.
John is a fashion icon. That's what he needs to hear.
I needed to hear that. Made my day. So, how long have you been doing like tattoo? Did you tattoo first, or did you do body piercing, or did you do them both at the same time?
Well, actually, I was taught at the same time. So as I was learning the body pierce, I was also learning the tattoo. I've been doing both since 2000, which actually this March marks 24 years. My God, I feel old. But yeah.
You started when you were 5.
Yes. You look fabulous. So
thank you.
How many tattoos do you have on your own?
Oh, that's a tough one there, John. I consider my sleeves one.
Okay.
You know what? I've lost count. I lost count after one. So let's just say we have one giant tattoo.
There you go. Just boom.
Put it out there.
Yes. You know, the funny part I have to say is that when I was growing up, you know, I'll date myself. I'm going to be 55. So when I was growing up, my mom ended up getting a tattoo when it was like in the 70s, 80s, like that time period. And she got it like right by her boob.
And your mom has a tattoo.
Yeah. And it was right by her.
Right there.
Yeah, she does. She does. Sorry about that. I don't catch that. But it was right by her boob. And everybody made such a big deal about, like, it was so weird and taboo. And I have to tell you, I think that now, as I grew up, my brother has it. My father freaked out about that one. But I find him sexy. And the sexier, like, the more it is, the sexier I think they are. I don't know. It's
we always say tattoos get you laid. You want to get laid, get a tattoo.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, even on here, I have a lot of friends that have a lot of tattoos. And one of my other friends, she's sexy as hell. She went to the vamp ball, all tatted up, no top, chain link thing, and just was like, I was just like, my God, that's so sexy. It really is sexy.
Well,
So-
the history of tattoos is so cool too. I mean, you're talking about your mom having a tattoo and how it was like taboo and so like
Oh yeah, she
that
used
was
to wear
only
a bathing
that was like
suit.
40 years ago.
Yeah, she used to
It
wear
has
bathing
changed
suits.
so
Freaked
much.
out.
Like I remember, getting a tattoo someplace that was visible and it was like it doesn't matter anymore.
No,
It doesn't.
no. So,
Well, I want to ask about your
Okay,
shop.
yeah.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of background about the Convent tattoo shop.
yeah.
Sure. So the Convent Tattoo, we're in the location we're at now since 2014. We've been through a few name changes, but now we are the Convent. That is completely us. We don't house nuns. If you want to consider us nuns, we'll take it. But it's our sanctuary. It's where we can be creative. It's where we can, you know, help out the clients. Be a place where people want to come. Now we've become a destination, which is really, really kind of cool. Unexpected, but like really cool. And when we first bought it, it was just two buildings that were married together. There was no flooring. There was just four walls and a door. And we started construction the first week we had bought the building. And by the second week, we started to notice we had some issues with some ghosties. Didn't want to believe it at first. We were like, no, we don't want to scare the customers away before bringing them in. But, if you build it, they will come. It's been a crazy ride ever since. We've done a lot of redecorating. And the new design is absolutely gorgeous. It's very authentic. It's very religious in a way, but also very demonic in a way. So it's kind of like an encompassing ball of everything, the blacks, the greens, the gold trims, the gaudiness, but the gaudiness works.
Right.
It's our little sanctuary. Now it's actually become more of a museum. John's seen it. So it's very much like your place. It's very unique. You never know what you're going to find. And we're always bringing in new things literally on the daily.
Well, I think that's a really good point too. When you're saying it's like very religious for so many people, like the actual act of tattooing it's a sacred practice. And it's like a sacred, you're practicing something that's so old and so ancient and it's so meaningful for people.
It is.
You should have that level of sacred, really cool vibe.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's just it's a very calming yet disembodying atmosphere, I guess is the best way to put it. You come in there and you never know what you're going to see, what you're going to get. You walk through the halls into our stations, and when the process begins, it's just an all-encompassing feeling. It's very euphoric, I guess is the best way. Very euphoric.
That's what I was going to say.
Like tattooing.
I was going to say,
true.
there's a very much of a euphoric feeling, when you're going into the space. The space it's hard to explain, but the way that it comes in, it's welcoming, but it's standoffish.
Yes.
And it's sort of, it gives you a little taste, but then it pulls back. It's sort of teasing in a way.
I gotta
but
get
there's
there.
not, it's not a feeling, you don't get scared. I think it's enlightening
People
in a
like
way.
us don't get scared.
No, but it's enlightening. I mean, the way that it's done, it's beautifully done. The space, the people that have working for for you are great. I mean, we were there. I was there for when we did something with you, and I just felt that the whole embodiment of it all is just really. It's definitely an experience. I definitely would love to come and get a tattoo. I think we're going to get a whole group of people.
A road trip.
A road trip to go get tattoos. We're going to have Parlour tattooed on our ass. No.
Nice.
You're
No,
Welcome.
we're going to be a little more creative.
Property of the parlor.
Yes. So I know, how many haunted items do you have?
That's a loaded question there, John. I would say at this point, I would probably gander. I've never actually counted them, but we thought about it. We thought about sitting down one day and just pulling everybody out and counting them. And, people think we just have dolls. We don't just have dolls. We have, crucifixes that were used in exorcisms. We have haunted photos. We have haunted paintings.
Right.
I would say, though, if I had to gander, definitely over probably 1,000.
Yeah. I would
Uh,
assume.
I
Those
would
are, those are 1,000 haunted objects?
Oh, yeah. Along with the resident
Wow.
spirits. We have our resident spirits that
Mhm.
started the whole, kit and caboodle. And the haunted objects didn't start coming till almost probably after we were on Ghost Nation back in 2019. That's when people started to send us haunted objects. And I had no idea. I knew nothing about them. It's not like I didn't believe in, hauntings and ghosts and stuff like that. I just never really experienced it except for what was in the studio. And our residents are very strong in their own right. And when the haunting started, I actually let it go for about 4.5 years before I finally said, I need to bring somebody in here to see if I'm crazy or if there's really something going on. So it was 4 years of not documenting anything, of people getting touched, us getting touched, things getting moved. We would come in and then our stuff would be in disarray on our stations. And for the longest time, I thought it was one of those people that, live in your walls. I'm like, there's somebody living in these walls, and I know it. I'm up there
Fascinated by that.
and I'm like up against the wall with a stethoscope, and because it was just too bizarre. I mean, things would be moved, and we didn't know what it was about. But then after the haunted objects started coming in, the entire energy just shifted. So I've received a lot from people all over the world with little handwritten notes. Sorry to do this to you. I hope you can accept it. Please don't get rid of it. And then I also collect them as well. So if I see a spirit that I think needs, a good home, a place to feel safe, a place that they can be themselves, I don't put any rules on them. And the reason I don't do that, I mean, for the most part, we don't put rules. It's okay. Don't hurt anybody. I'm going to respect you. You respect me.
Mhm.
Have free reign. You can walk around all day and night. You can touch people if you want. Just please don't harm anybody, and please don't break my shit because it's kind of irreplaceable. So, and they're very good about that. I really there's I think a trust that we have together, a companionship, and we just coexist. That's what you can do when you have a haunted location. You just coexist with them.
Mhm.
And I think it's cool too because unlike most, ghost hunters, if you want to call them, or paranormal investigators, we live with them every day. We communicate with them every day. We are in an environment where we need to have that respect.
Mhm.
They're not parlor tricks, no pun intended. They're spirits. Many of them human, but many of them not. And I think that, the more you push them to perform, the more they shut down or the more they become what you don't want them to be. So we treat them like family and they become family.
Right. The funny part is that when you started the conversation and you said that for 4.5 years, you wanted to believe, but you didn't want to believe. I get that whole persona of that because, I know you probably said, yes, there's people here and you're all excited, but because you believe in it.
Yeah.
Like if you believe in it, you automatically go there. But to have that, justification that it is true probably changes the whole dynamics of things. But I get what you're saying. That vibe in there it's like everybody's looking.
It does. It's always like you're being watched in there. I mean, you met Norman, one of our largest
He
haunted.
helped me.
I know.
It was good.
I
They're
know.
like, we're gonna stick you with Norman. And I'm like, okay, who's Norman? And then they told me this story about like what's Norman. And I said, so Norman, I'm not invading your space. I won't bother you. But if you'd like to help, it'll be fun. And he would light up.
But did you send Norman TikToks nonstop?
No.
Okay.
I harass everybody with TikTok because I find them funny.
Well, I'm curious to explore that a little bit. What's your take on ghosts? Like, what do you think? What do you think like makes a ghost?
There's so many theories out there. I mean, everybody has a theory or an idea of what they think a ghost is. Now, for me, just because I work with them, and I say that I work with them every day, whether they're the resident spirits or whether they're the objects. I've always felt, there's some theories too out there where it's time travel. And I get down with that a little bit, that it could be a time traveler. But to me, when you get their stories and you're working with them and you're getting specific dates or specific answers or, where were you from? To me, that's not time travel. To me, that's somebody who existed like on the plane that we're in now. And they tend to, it's their energy, I believe, and that's the thing too with the studio. I would say, I would bet to say wholeheartedly that 98% of our spirits there, whether they're the residents or the objects, are intelligent. That's the difference. You go to places where you might hear bangs or stuff. They may not know that they're on this plane. And, there's different planes. They don't have time the way that we do. But I've always felt that, when we're working with them, they're giving us direct answers. For instance, we have a resident spirit, Wilbert, and I have another psychic that's been helping me kind of communicate with him a little bit more and learn about him. Well, Wilbert was actually like a farmer that owned that property when he was alive. And I didn't realize how old he was when he passed away in like 1892, I think it was, found his grave and went and visited his grave. And it's right up the road from the studio. So that was kind of really, really awesome. Where I got to experience that with him. And then when I came back to the shop and I told him, I said, Wilbert, I'm going to go visit your grave now. If you want to come with me, you can show me where it's at. Weird thing was, you're in a cemetery of maybe about 200 graves. I had no idea where to start. It's a very old cemetery. Something told me, turn to the left. And right there, I turned to the left. I looked down. His grave was right there. Wow. I mean, it was just bizarre. So, if they're, telepathically helping you or, if they trust you enough, you will get a lot of answers and you will have an ally. I look at spirits as allies sometimes. And, some of them just want to be heard. We get a lot of them where sometimes they just want to be heard. And if you're there to listen, like there's banging going on. I have some spirits at my house too. So I have a whole row. And I'm like, all right,
there's no break.
This is what I'm saying. When you talk about them, I always find that they tend to be more active because they want to be known.
Right. It's an acknowledgement.
Right. And you know what? You just can't ignore them. You can't just shut them out. They can do what they want. Again, they have free will, and why do that? If you're afraid, then put it out of your mind.
Right.
But don't ignore them.
Right.
Yeah, we don't ignore the ones here at all. In fact, I kind of like talk to them probably more than I should.
Yeah, we say good morning when we come in and we say good night to you.
Yeah, and I'm always asking, oh, do you like this? Is there something? I'll be here alone and having these conversations.
Yeah, well, I do it. I ask them for advice on tattoos. Like, all right, guys, what do you think?
So do you think that it's some way that the spirit is transmuted from the body and becomes this entity, or do you think that it's something that's trapped or residual or that we leave behind? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think that some may be trapped or may not know where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
From my learnings of them, because they teach me every single day, I would say that many of them don't want to leave. Many of my spirits anyway, like being with the living. They don't want to leave because I've always asked them, do you want to leave? Do you feel trapped? And it's like, no, we like you. Like I get a lot of responses. We like you, or we like it here, or it's fun here. And I feel like if they want to go someday, that's up to them.
I believe they're true because I've been with you.
Yeah,
and you are fun. And I would be with you in life and as a
that's
ghost.
where John's going when he.
Yeah, when I'm going there.
Who doesn't want to hang out, dead or alive, in a tattoo shop?
Absolutely.
We have so much fun.
Amazing people, by my dad.
Right. And, they get to feed off of a lot of the energies of the clients too.
Yeah.
And I have noticed, when there's clients in there that even we're not crazy about, they shut down. They're very quiet. It's almost like they're standing in the wings, just being like, all right, when they done? When are they getting out of here? When we get clients that come in that are fun and upbeat and don't mind interacting with them, they're great. They're like, oh, yay, a new person. So it's, it's just it's a love-hate, I guess. For me, it's all love.
I know.
I do it out of love, and I love them. And honestly, if I didn't have them, I don't know where I would be.
Mm-hmm. I get that. I get that.
I sort of look at it too. I think we may have talked about this when you visited us. I sort of look at it almost like like how anthropologists study other cultures. Like, I just want to be respectful of their existence. I want to be respectful of us sharing that space and that time together. And I want to understand them.
Right.
So it drives me a little crazy when you see the people that are like provoking them, like, show me something or make this, like.
I will not allow investigators like that in the studio. I will research every investigator, and that's why we don't allow many in. The ones that we have had in there have been phenomenal. And plus two, the difference is sometimes they'll listen to me and I'll say, look, if you want the most interaction, this is what you need to do. They don't want somebody coming in and say, is anybody here that wants to talk to me tonight? They're not stupid. You know what I mean? Like, they're spirits. And I have found that the more that you want to sit on the floor and play, well, hey guys, come over. Let's come, have some pizza. Let's have some wine. Let's have some beer. You will get more interactions by just
an hour.
Yeah. She's not there, right? You're at your home.
I'm at home. Oh God, they wouldn't let me talk if I was at the shop tonight. They were already too active today. A lot of bangs. My rings have been going off like crazy. I have like 51 notifications.
I think it's the weather, right? It could be the weather too.
I agree. It's funny. I was talking with another investigator who had just come in. She's phenomenal. And she couldn't believe that I had the same logic of when spirits are the most active. I know that mine anyway are the most active in the spring and summer so I would say end of March, beginning of April till about end of October, beginning of November. That's when they're most active. Winter, it's kind of like us. We kind of hibernate. It's kind of cold. You don't want to deal with anything. So I think they do too. We still get stuff, but it's definitely not near as much as we do in the nice weather.
Interesting.
Has anything that you've gotten in that really scared you that you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here? It's uncomfortable feel.
There is one piece that just came in. A guy sent me a Ouija board with a note. I didn't know it was coming. It just came in the mail. And it's not an old Ouija board. It's a newer Ouija board. And he says, look, I don't know what to do with this thing. I figured you can handle it or you would know somebody who would. And he sent it. And he goes, it's got multiple attachments. He goes, I don't know where it even came from. A friend of mine gave it to me and said, you got to get this thing out of my house. And the day that we started to work with it, not Ouija itself, we just pulled it out. We put a few lights on it. We used a few, of our K2s and started to ask it questions. Shit started going south. And I have other haunted Ouija boards, never have that problem. They're actually very respectful. They're very happy to speak. These guys, I don't know what the deal is yet, so I'm still kind of working with it and figuring it out. But that night, one of the artists went home. Her vacuum broke, her couch broke. She didn't feel well. It was wild. She goes, don't ever pull that thing out in my presence again.
Wow.
So you have all your Ouija boards on the second floor, right?
No, they're kind of mixed around. Some of them we do hang. The haunted ones, the ones that I know of that are haunted, I don't really hang those. I kind of keep them off to the side because their energy levels are a lot different.
Right.
So we keep, we try to keep our demonics away from our positives, of course. I would love even a bigger building than what I already have to keep them completely separate. But when I shift them around a lot, you get a lot of the different energy. Some of them, we just got a little guy in named Nicholas. He's adorable. He's a nasty little bugger. But the first day he was in, he growled. He growled at the artist twice, and the customer heard it. She was freaking out. I thought she was going to run out of the shop. And I said, relax. He's just trying to flex his muscles. Said he's not going to hurt you. I said, he might scratch you or bite you, but he's not going to hurt you other than that.
Like a puppy.
Yeah, he's a little puppy. Yeah, and he doesn't like to be moved. But he likes to be out in the open so everybody can see his greatness. I call him Nicholas the Great.
Nicholas the Great.
So I don't want to ask because I know that it might offend things if I said, what's your favorites in the thing? Because I get it.
So
they're all your favorites.
They're all my favorites. I love them all uniquely, but if I had to pick one, it would be my friend Mort, which I think I might have shown you guys a video of. Mort's been with me for a while now. He's a creepy little guy. He loves playing cards and he loves alcohol. So, and he likes day drinking.
Well, there you go. He's our
I
friend.
want to hang out with
Always
you.
ask, is it time to day drink? And he will light up like a Christmas tree. So he's and I keep him up on a top shelf where he can overlook the entire waiting room because I think he likes it up there, and I also think that um, he feels confident, like he's like the big man on campus, you know. So, but he's great though. He just because of his personality and because of day drinking.
Well,
Go for it.
When you just said that he'll light up like a Christmas tree, would you mind explaining what you mean by that? I know what it means,
Oh,
but I want our
so,
people to know.
a lot of people may have seen on ghost shows and stuff like that, or on the internet. We use a few different methods to communicate because I mean, sure as shit, not a psychic or a medium. So I have to rely on what I feel around me. You know, the cold spots, the goosebumps, the footsteps. You know, my hearing. Um, so what we do is we use what are called balloon lights, or some people call them bullet lights, and we also use light up cat balls, and they have the energy to light them up on their own. Um, so when we're able to use these lights, if somebody wants to communicate and say, I don't catch their drift, you know, or I don't feel their presence, we can always kind of communicate or let them know that, hey, you know, I see you. Hey, buddy, you know, when they light up one of these objects for us, which is great, you know, or, you know, we can communicate through it. I can always say to them, okay, if you don't want to use any of these other tools, which some of them cannot, you know, some of the older spirits that I have, some of them are from the 1800s. They don't know what a REM pod is. They don't know
right.
what a, and I try to teach them and I'm like, look, guys, you know, and I show them like, this is how it works. It's not going to hurt you. They won't even touch them. But if I give them a light that they can actually expel their energy to light up, they get that, you know, or we just play simple yes and no games. Sometimes what I'll even do is, you know, I like to play a counting game with them, which is kind of really cool. So this way I can tell if they're in the room with me, if they can actually physically on my plane see me. So I'll hold up some fingers and I'll say, all right, guys, how many fingers am I holding up? Show me with your light. Can you blink your light for me this amount of times? Or can you do this? And that also shows their intelligence as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I've seen you do that on the videos.
Yeah.
I like your videos.
I love them.
I'm
It's like
trying.
it's like Toys R Us now has, and they're like, but yeah. So besides the fact that you are a tattoo artist, does someone come into you and say, hey, you know, Sophie, I have somewhat of an idea, but I'm not a drawer. I don't know how to draw anything. Do they sit down with you and you?
So some artists may do that. Myself, because I was already a classically trained artist before I went and became a tattoo artist, not by my choice. I wanted to work in the medical field and deal with cadavers all day, but I'd rather deal with the dead than the living. I think that's why it's a happy medium for
There
me.
you go.
Um, but you know, they'll come to us and say, hey, I have this or I have that. So as long as they trust us, you know, and they want to make the appointment, then we'll draw out what we think that they're looking for. Now, you know, it's so much better when you definitely have a solid idea because we're thinking not only for ourselves, we're thinking for 50 other customers at the same time. And now we have to think for you. We have to not only think for you, but draw it. We have to design it and tattoo it. So it's a lot on tattoo artists when somebody just comes in and, you know, just like the people that come in and say, hey, you know, I don't care what you put on me, put whatever. Well, what you might like and what I
Same.
like are different things. I always say if I can just do a really large, you know, penis, I'd be happy. You know, let's put a cupcake on it too. But they're like, oh, I don't like that. I'm like, but I do. You told me to do what I wanted. You know,
A
so
penis with frosting, you
right,
can't go
you
wrong.
can't go wrong. Thank you. You know, that would be a shining star of tattoos. But, you know, it is. And we do ask that people have more of a solid idea. They don't have to bring us a picture. If they can't draw, that's perfectly fine. But at least don't come to us and say, I don't know what I want. I want something from the sea. Okay, well, do you want sea life? Do you want monsters? Do you want oceans? Do you want boats? Do you want pirates? Like, there's just the whole
Right,
gamut
right.
is just too huge for us to just decide, okay, this is what we're going to have to do on you. So we always just try to, and sometimes I will turn them away. I'll say, look, go home, make a list of what things you want, then come back and talk to me. You know, you're just all over the place and I can't get a good read on you. And I'm in the middle of a tattoo right now, so I got to go.
Right. So, Any suggestions if people are looking to do it? Like, I have a tattoo. I have one, but I
You
was
only
like,
have one?
yeah, I was like this because I don't like needles. So that's a big problem. But I was
I
like
not
this
really
when I
like
did it,
needles.
but I got it. I picked it out. The picking out of it was like this. It was 45 minutes going, what am I doing? I can't believe I'm doing this. And I did it. It didn't hurt until they started like, coloring in the back on the spine piece. But otherwise, it wasn't like it hurt. It was just a little like uncomfortable feel. But otherwise, I healed very quickly. It was fine. Don't have a problem. But is there, like, if someone was coming in or thinking about it, like, what are your suggestions, like, for you to give somebody? You know what I mean? Like, if they want it, but is it painful to some people? Like, what your
So I think the biggest problem with tattoos or even piercings for that matter is there's going to be some discomfort, no doubt.
Mhm.
If
It's an
you're just a big
investment.
old, if you're just a big old P, then you're not going to do well and it's not going to be good for us. We tell people we can only make a straight line as still as you're staying. If you're moving around and floundering like a fish, I mean that line is going to represent you moving.
right,
Mhm.
And of course it's unfortunate because the first people they're going to blame is us. But if you see our work and you're the one that's acting out, maybe a tattoo wasn't the right choice for you.
I
right,
just forget to breathe when I'm getting
That's
tattooed
some
because
people
I'm
do.
always afraid that I'm gonna, like, breathe too deep and it's gonna mess up.
No, no. I mean, other than if we're working on either a neck or say a chest or sternum or stomach, breathing normal is fine. Many times we can figure out your breathing patterns and
Mhm.
lift up before we put a line down.
Yeah.
But, it's the ones that act a fool. It's the ones that wanna have an audience. You don't need an audience to get a tattoo. You just need yourself and the artist. And
right,
it's more of a personal experience. It's actually better for the artist. You don't have people standing up and getting in your light, getting all around your way. I always say that if you, if you need a person with you, then it's an adult thing. Then become an adult. We do allow one person with a client. Of course. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a friend, or maybe they're both getting tattooed. That's fine. We don't have a problem with that. We allow one person in the studio at a time. But some of these other shops that I see with 5 and 6 people standing around the artist, I would die. I would just cringe and say, "We're not doing this. I'm done. I am not doing this today." Because it gets to be a lot and it's stressful for the artist. Like we have to be perfect at all times.
right,
So I don't think people understand that sense of wow, like they can't fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? And if we
right,
So you're
do,
not erasing anything.
right.
no, there's
No,
no
yeah, it's not like, oh, when we flip it over and do that.
right. So I call it like I see, people might hate me for, I really don't care. I just do it because I try to do the best job that I can for each client. I try to make it the most pleasant experience, the least painful that I possibly can. But it's hard. Our jobs are hard. And there's a lot of artists that are too afraid to like speak out like that because they know that the public is going to like berate them and crucify them.
Right.
I don't care. You want to crucify me? I already work at the convent. It don't matter. I got plenty of
Convenient.
crosses.
Yeah,
Bring it
you
on.
do. Did you have a very like? Is there someone that came in and you were so excited about doing this tattoo and it came out like? Is there your favorite tattoo that you've done that made you
You're
like?
asking the really tough
Yeah,
questions.
this is like,
Sorry, it's
woo,
No, it's
riveting.
good.
It's riveting.
it's like the MCATs here. um, I would, any tattoo that I do, and there's tattoos that I absolutely hate doing. I don't turn people away though. I'm not one of those artists that's just, oh, if it's not my style, I'm not doing it. I'm not one of
Right.
those because guess what? I run a business. I need to make money to support that business and my haunted object collection. Okay. So, I would say that my favorite tattoos that I just get a lot of joy out of are anything the darker, the weirder, the more macabre, the most horror. That's where my heart lies, and I love
Mhm.
those. And
Okay.
if you look at if you look at my body of work, you wouldn't even know that it's the same artist tattooing because it's so all over the place.
Mhm.
I do what the customer asks, and I do it to the best of my ability. Whether that be black and gray, new school realism, tribal, Polynesian, neo traditional. If you put it in front of me, I'll make it happen. You
Mhm.
know, so I don't actually set in one style. And I do that too because I think that when you're stuck in one style, you kind of are pigeonholed as an artist.
Yeah.
And I like to be creative in all aspects. And plus, I would get bored. I would be so bored doing the same tattoo unless it was something I really loved every single day. But we just don't get that kind of clientele, you know?
Right.
I mean, I see some other shops where I'm like, damn, I wish somebody would come to me for that, you know? And I'm like, I'm jealous because I'm like, man, I'd love to do a piece like that. But it also depends on the area that you're in. You know, depends on, like, we're in South Jersey, you know, depends on if you're in Colorado or New York City or
Right.
Alaska. It's all dependent on, I think, what the people want and how much they stay off of Pinterest. You know, come on, let's, you know, be creative and be unique.
Has someone come in with something and you're like, when they said, "Oh, I want this," and you're like, "Ooh," did you
Yeah.
sort of like?
I can't hide my face.
Okay, but I can't either. So
I wear it on my sleeve. But, you know, I'm not going to be a dick about it. You know, I'm going to come out to them and I'm going to say, you know, listen, that's a horrible design. That is just absolutely not going to work. We can do something similar. Let's change it. And again, I'm not one of those artists, you know, if you have something that you drew and you really want it, God help us all, unless you're an amazing artist. But what I try to do is I try to help them make a better tattoo because not only is it permanent, which most people know, but also that's my work going out there. If you bring me a shitty design and say, no, I want it just like this, and I have to tattoo that, I just feel regretful and remorse and just a sense of just, I want to curl up in a ball and die. You know,
right.
and I don't want you walking out with that. Even if you love it, I don't want you telling anybody I did that tattoo. And that's, I think, most artists, they just either some of them do admit it and some of them don't. But there are some things that people think are tattooable that just really are not.
Right.
You know, sometimes too much detail, it's going to bleed together. I don't care if you're the best artist in the world. I don't care if you do micro tattoos. It is going to bleed together because the skin is a living organism. Our skin is always changing. Our bodies change every 7 years. You know, skin is alive. You get sunburn, you get damage, you get a scar. It's going to change what you have on your skin.
And the lymph system too, like your lymph nodes actually take up ink.
They do. And, you know, it's
I
funny,
don't-
even with certain colors, you know,
Yeah.
certain people are allergic to certain colors. You know, everybody heard, you know, red is a main cause. They've made inks a little bit more hypoallergenic since when I started back in the day. Some people are allergic to greens. My old boss was allergic to the color green. But, you know, there's also the small instances where people will get a color, have never been allergic to it. And a few years down the line, that color starts bubbling up on them. And then they can't, like the color red, they can't eat red food. They can't dye their hair red. They can't wear red lipstick. And they're like, I don't understand. I could always do this. Well, our bodies change. Doesn't
Right.
mean in another 7 years that all of a sudden everything's going to be great again. It might. But, you know, people don't understand that, you know, you're taking a risk when you get a tattoo, you know, and you never know what your body's going to do. I mean, unfortunately, you know, cancer patients, when they get a lot of chemo and radiation, it can actually burn the tattoo from the inside out. I've seen it. I had a patient like that. You know, so we never know what our bodies are going to do. And that's why it's so imperative as artists for us to be honest as we can be with the customer, whether they like our response or not.
So I have a question for you then about one of my tattoos. Well, the ones I have on my shoulder, sometimes they get like raised.
Yes. So a lot of times there are metal compounds in inks.
Okay.
So let me guess, do they raise a lot when you're hot or when there's heat out? Have you thought about that?
I haven't thought about it, but now I got to think about it.
Time you're out in the heat or in the summer, because some of mine raise too. Some of my older tattoos tend to raise. So a lot of times it's because of the compounds and the molecular structure
You
of
make me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
If they ever get itchy, that's another sign too.
Mm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna keep a journal.
Mm. My tattoo journal.
My tattoo, I have 1,000 journals, all of
So
different
the
subjects.
next thing you know, she'll be like, "Hey, what do you think?" And I'll have to see a PowerPoint presentation on it.
He makes fun of my PowerPoint presentations, but I'm
It's
very
crazy.
organized.
You would never know if you came here, but she's organized and everything else.
Yeah.
So, was there like, did you ever do a celebrity tattoo?
I have, but those ones I have an NDA with them, so
Okay,
I can't
okay, that's
disclose
fine.
it. But yes,
get it.
multiple. All I can say is many sports players, 2 actors, So we can just, I don't want to get sued here.
No, that's fine.
We
I
don't
didn't
want that
mean to.
either.
I just find it fascinating that somebody
Yeah.
came in. So it's from your work, of course, because I see your work. It's beautiful. I've seen
Thank you.
people that have your tattoos, and all your tattoos are gorgeous. I just lost my thought. I can't. I don't know. Like, what was I thinking?
I don't know.
Help.
This time I do not know what you were thinking. A lot of times I do, but this time I don't.
Well, I went right out of that one. That could be on the blooper reel.
There is no blooper reel.
I know, that's a lie. It's a joke.
A blooper reel.
It's a joke.
I
don't know what happened.
I don't either.
I had a brain fart.
It's only water in his teacup.
I know. It's not like it's liquor.
Oh, that's a damn shame.
I know. I should be like you, sipping wine. Let me see if I can think.
Okay, I will talk then. So, with all of your haunted items, what was your first one that you know of?
Ooh, I would probably say one of the first is a doll named Marta. She came from Spain. A kid sent her to me. She was apparently passed down into the family. He believes it was his first cousin who actually inhabited this doll. Now, the little girl apparently attached to it when she passed away. She was about like 9 or 10 when she passed away, because he gave me a little backstory. But the funny thing was, like, at the time, I didn't believe it because I just put her on her shelf and I was like, all right, she's just a cool, like, old doll. She wasn't creepy. She was really cute. But I didn't work with balls then. I didn't work with cat balls. I didn't work with bullet lights. I didn't work with any of these things. So I just put her on a shelf and she sat there for probably close to like 6 years before I even started to work with her and give her a light. As soon as I give her a light, she just kept lighting up. It was like, thank you. Now you know I'm here. And I feel horrible because I didn't know to work with it. I didn't understand haunted objects. I just understood the ghost that I was dealing with on a daily in the studio. I didn't know if she was haunted or not, or if it was just a fake, or some kid thought it was and he just sent it to us. But yeah, she was my very first.
So how did, like, when you say someone, like, the people send you haunted objects, how do they know to do that?
I think it's because they saw us on TV, because we've been all over YouTube. We blew up TikTok, that's why we are America's Most Haunted Shop. And I don't think it's because of the activity of the hauntings. Like, we don't have shit flying off the walls. I mean, occasionally we do. Sometimes they like to throw the rosaries off the walls. Sometimes they like to lunge the crosses, and a few of the smaller lightweight paintings. And pencils. We see pencils fly all the time. But again, it's because I've asked them, please don't break anything. So I think that they're very respectful of that. But I think that it started when people started to see us online. I think what happened was COVID happened. So when we aired in October of 2019 on the Travel Channel on Ghost Nation, about 6 months after we aired, all these boxes started to come to the shop. I mean, it wasn't even my name. It would just say Convent Tattoo, Australia, Brazil, Alaska. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't order anything. I thought somebody was punking me. I thought my credit card got, it was like, I got very nervous. I was calling my banks. I was like, is anybody taking money out? And there would be sometimes a note in the box and sometimes there wouldn't be. There would be objects, there would be crucifixes, there would be, doll parts, there would be dolls, there would be pictures. And I think what happened, this is just my theory, once COVID hit, everybody was home, right? So everybody's home in your houses, nobody could go anywhere, the whole world shut down. So I think what happened was these people may have had an object, maybe from a great aunt or a grandmother or their mother or their deceased parent or whatever, or hey, I bought this at an antique store. I thought it was cool, and they never paid attention. And I think that once they were home, things started to go south for them. I think that they started to hear the banging, the knocking, maybe seeing shadows, maybe seeing people, maybe their lights started to flicker. Maybe they were hearing noises and voices and running down the stairs. Who knows? But I think that was what happened because it was kind of perfect, like the perfect storm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people got afraid, like, oh no, like if there's something going on with it. Because there's a lot of the notes that I do have are, I don't know what's wrong with this thing. I hear things coming from it. It talked to me. It turned its head. It looked at me. I don't want it in my house. I have children. My children are talking to this doll, and they never did before. Well, again, nobody was home before.
It's sort of like people talk about like the difference in their relationships with their family and all of these like conflicts that people had during COVID.
Right.
It's so like interesting because it's like now I'm home all day with the ghosts. I never acknowledged them before.
But not a bad thing.
No, I don't know, but that's
But
when
you know what I was thinking? Since you said that whole that people did this and there was letters, and you should do a coffee table book.
That's a great idea. I have thought about that,
because it's respecting them. But it would be really cool to, maybe the book looks like your opening of your doors of your shop, and then
yeah.
I thought it would be a great idea.
I definitely thought about writing a book. I am very much on the verge of transitioning from artist to author.
That's
great. In all your spare time, right?
In all my spare time,
Yes, and we'd love to have you here and sign books.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
I would. But our place is good, but your place, I just want to skip.
Don't say that to the ghosts here.
No, I love our space. I mean, our space, we love our space. We really do. And it's so cool to get, and I think you agree, where we met, it was the same, like it was a mutual experience where I used to have, was a partner with Donna. And this mutual thing to get to know you. And there's so many amazing other people out there that are just as weird and freaky and awesome, and I just
That's what I love about
it. I love the fact
it's like a homing beacon.
Yes,
yes,
this is great.
Yes, and your guys' place is fabulous. Put both of our places together, man, we would just have one hell of a a smorgasbord. Oh God,
you do that?
We'll just all pack up everybody and just move right over there.
Yeah, we'll just put them all.
I want to hang out with the ghosts. I want to do.
I'd rather just hang. I don't mind that either, but her and her partner, is that your boyfriend, right?
Eric, yeah,
fun.
Yeah,
they're so fun, and the girls are great. And I would love to. I would feel that if I got a tattoo, it would be a privilege to have a tattoo done by you.
And I would be happy to.
I think you're so sweet.
Doing it. You're gonna do my ghosts.
Yeah, we have fun. When I was there the last time, we had so much fun.
Oh, we had a blast.
Ghost tattoos at the haunted tattoo shop.
Yeah.
There you go.
Be done.
Get touched.
I just need Danny to draw it for me.
That'll be fun. Come on, Danny.
Danny's a great artist.
He's a great artist.
I have Danny's devil painting hanging in the hallway, and then I bought the one from, who was it? I think Rick did it. The woman.
Oh, the woman, wax. She does wax.
That day.
He has another wax one with rosary beads. It's freaking awesome.
By the way, you'll be happy to know that one is freaking haunted now. I don't know if it came from your place or if it came from mine or along the way, but there are
one of our ghosts.
She can have
orbs that fly out.
Yeah, like Rick does all these like.
I say it. I say it.
He does great. He's really very good. He loves doing the wax, just like Danny loves turning an idea into this amazing, piece. And
I'm looking at.
It's just trying to get people to come. I mean, being someone that has a business, and getting that in that niche of things and continually putting itself out there. It's constant. It's a constant job. It's constant. And we're trying to do things differently.
But we love
That's what Parlour Tea turned into, which is great. So you guys are open from?
Yeah, we're open Tuesdays through Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays are the only day that I'm closed because I need one day off. But I'm even there on a Monday. As a business owner, you just got to do it.
We're closed today and we're here.
I go to get the mail. I go to check up on the studio, on the on all of our friends there. Make sure we're not wreaking too much havoc or having too many strippers in there at the same time.
Yeah, there you go.
No strippers. That would be.
I think there is one or two. I find glitter every day. I have to sweep. I'm like, where is this glitter coming from? I'm like, do you guys have the strippers in here when we leave at night? I know what it is. It's okay.
Maybe you have a haunted drag queen.
Probably. We got everything haunted in there. I mean, my God, everything in there winds up haunted.
I know. Tell me, you can walk in with a cart and go, I want this one and this one. And you're like, oh my God. Like there's some amazing
sensory overload.
Oh yeah, there's some amazing pieces in there. And it's just nice. You could, when we were there, that hustle and the bustle and the vibe was, it's not a heavy vibe when we were there. I mean, it
No.
might be because things change and what you get
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But
If you come at nighttime, right after closing time, and especially up in the upstairs, the library, that's very heavy. Sometimes we can't even stay up there. It's not breathable. We have a lot of activity up there just on a daily basis, but that shop, and that's why we close at 5. Some people were like, "Oh my God, what tattoo shops open 8 to 5?" Well, we are. Okay, there's a reason that we are. One, I work 9-hour days. Two, I still want to come home and still have to draw appointments. I don't feel like drawing an appointment at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Sorry, not anymore. I'm 44 years old. I can't hang like that anymore. But we close at that time because it is their time. When we leave, they can be themselves. I mean, they can be themselves all the time, but I think that they like that quietness, to be with each other, to do what ghosts do. And when you're there past a certain time, I always say the big boys come out and play.
Oh, okay. I get that.
You know what I'm saying? That energy shifts. Like, and during the day, you get a lot of the kids out. You get a lot of the adults that are like, hey, happy go lucky. Like the grandpas of the group and stuff. But at nighttime, it's just like a shift in energy. And I don't even like to go there at night by myself, and I know them all. That's how just downright oppressive it becomes at nighttime. Different feel, and that's why we close at the time that we do.
We don't get that as much. We get a shift depending on like the activities I think that we have here. Like if there's readers, or a couple weeks ago we had an amazing class on connecting with ancestors, and you could feel like
Yeah, we had a necromancy class that
Yeah.
you felt that.
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
the necromancy.
It was like you had to like ask them to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Vibe.
That's what happens at nighttime. When
Yeah.
when John talks about it feels like you're being watched, walk in there at nighttime and see how it
I would
feels.
probably, I always say that I'm really good and I could do
You'd be
it.
scared.
I probably would. Like,
There was
We use
a time
buddy
where
system at night.
somebody scratched him here,
Yeah.
and he
We've
was like,
had it happen.
I got scratched.
we got stuff like I got scratched. We hear these weird things. Sometimes it's very deep, like.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
you're like,
we have a lot of those on
it goes
recording.
right over you.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
love it.
Very chilling. It's very chilling.
I love it. Like there's times where I just come in here and sit by myself, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
okay, guys, I'm here, and we have little
Sometimes
interactions.
that's what I tell the investigators that do come in. I'm like, listen, sometimes you don't have to actually investigate. Sometimes you can just come in and put some equipment down and say, hey, if anybody's feeling like using this stuff tonight, go for it. And sit there in the quiet. The stuff that you will get is unreal. The EVPs, the talking, the banging, the knocking, the shuffling. It's insane, and you don't have to say a word. They do it all for you. You know?
I
I
mean,
love it.
just the whole idea. I think it's just really very, very, in your environment and knowing what goes on in your environment. I think that what's exciting about it is that there is a vibe, that there is a life after death, that there is a different
Absolutely.
place to go. What are you doing?
I'm looking at our comments.
All right. There's another place to go. Oh, someone else wants to come and do a tattoo. Our friend Sarah. You'll like her too. Take a whole, everybody meet here next week and we'll all go on a bus. Now, I think that, the idea of that there is something after this, there's another plateau of something. I think it's really very comforting in a way.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy the fact that it was there. Like working over where I was, I would see the creepiest things.
Mm-hmm.
And it all depends on what was there and what was not there. And it was just the whole idea of it. I saw shadows, but I wanted to. So
Mhm.
that was also something like you would just see it. And it was always in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
right before you did it, or at when you were closing down. But even working there, I hope everybody has a great night. Mama's coming tomorrow, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but it was a great experience. And that was that.
Like I always tell people, you can't have the light without the dark. And
Absolutely.
you have to have that balance. I think they balance each other out because
Yeah.
at first, when people started to send me objects, I wouldn't accept anything that was negative or demonic. Because we're already dealing with our own resident spirits, where some of them are not very friendly. Now I think we've grown accustomed to each other. We have a mutual respect. They've never harmed me or bothered me or anything like that. But there are some people that they just don't like, and they have the power to do stuff. Trip them. I've seen people get tripped in there. I've seen people get very heavy scratches. Um, feel automatically nauseous, in a certain presence of a few of them. But now I embrace the darkness. And plus I'm a dark person anyway, but now I find that working with the demonics and the negatives is so much fun. Those
Right.
guys, they will just tell you like it is. I'm like, God, you're so much like me. I love you guys.
Well, I think that's why I love you, because we're the same. We'll
Yes.
just say it.
We'll
And,
just say it.
we're like, "Ooh, my bad."
No.
Afterward, then not really care, but
Yeah.
I
So
get it.
we have some questions too. I want to get to
Yeah.
them. Can you see Elizabeth's question there?
Yes.
What do you do when a client is uncontrollably shaking, shivering from a long or painful tattoo?
We don't really get that too much. Pretty much clients will bail before they, even if the tattoo's not done. Most clients will tell us, hey, I've had enough. Cool. And we only do so many hours at a time anyway. So if somebody gets to that point and they're still going, I wouldn't. Your body needs to recover from
Mhm.
the actual tattooing process.
Mhm.
So if you keep going and not say anything to your artist, well, shame on you. Like you need to say something. If you don't say anything, we don't know.
Right. Right.
Elizabeth has another question here. How do you keep from having evil spirits in the shop?
Oh, honey, you don't. You don't, sweetie. No, we don't do that here. Everybody is welcome, at least our studio, and I believe with these guys as well, with the parlor. You just, we don't, like I said, we don't really give rules, but we do have a respect and mutual aid issue. So when anything comes in, or if I know that there's something new that shouldn't be there, or maybe just be, passing through, and we get some that pass through. We just say, look, we're not here to harm you. You can stay as long as you want, as long as you just don't break things, as long as you don't harm the other spirits, as long as you don't harm the clients or us. We don't care. If you want to sit there and growl at us all day or give us a few little scratches or bites, have at it.
Right.
As long as you're not doing anything that's going to be so harmful and making people nauseous or sick because they can feel your energy, you're fine to stay.
So, you had mentioned something about a guy that came in for a tattoo and he wasn't really being very.
I saw him get tripped in the middle, and you've seen my floor, John. There was nothing in the way. He should not have
Gorgeous
tripped.
floor.
It was almost not even like a trip. It was like a shove. Because when I saw him walking away, I said, okay, buddy, I'll meet you up front. It was like his whole back, like somebody just came up behind him and shoved him, and then he kind of tripped over his feet. And he looked at me and he goes, I must have tripped. We all saw it. But it was because he was kind of mocking them. He was like, oh, yeah, right. These things aren't haunted, blah, blah, blah. The next thing you know, within a minute, here he was getting pushed.
Right.
I've been pushed.
Yeah.
And it's not pleasant.
No, not at all.
I love that they're around. My part-time job is telling ghost stories. I
Mhm.
absolutely love it. I don't necessarily like when they actually physically move me.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a boundary. So I've sort of set some boundaries in place.
I mean, I've gotten touched at the other place. I mean, so I get it. It is very like, even though you want to and you know that it's there and that startle,
Yeah.
it's an adrenaline rush to me. It's like somebody going on a roller coaster. I hate those, but I would love that, type of thing. And I was talking on the phone before the store opened, the freakiest one. And I was on the phone with Donna, and I ended up going around the front of the thing, and if you're a smoker, so I was like, I have my cigarettes. Oh, I have my lighter, and then a deep, wet cough in the back of my ear, and I was like, oh my God. Like, you just wanted to run out the front door. She's like, what? And then she's like, that's Buddy. He's there. It's fine. And I'm like,
We get a lot of people here that get their hair touched. It happens
We
to
get
me.
that a lot too. It's funny, I don't know if it's because that's the kind of energy that they have that they can just kind of tug your hair. We've had people, like I said, pushed, scratched, hair pulled, clothing, like kind of sort of pulled. We've had people that have said that they felt like little hands, like little cold hands, like on their legs. We've had people have their feet tickled. That was a fun one to try to explain off. We've had people feel like their wallets are getting pulled out of their back pockets, like a pickpocket. The first time that I really knew I was touched, I mean, I felt the hair, I felt the cobwebs, I was standing at the hallway, before the skeleton room, we call it. And I had my arms crossed and I was talking to one of my regulars, and she was back from Britain. And we were just sitting there shooting the shit, and she was making an appointment. And I'm standing there, my arms are crossed, and it literally was the hardest, like, do, like, hey, move, excuse me. I turned around and there was nobody there. And I said, did somebody just walk behind me? And she goes, no. And I'm like, and I'm looking again thinking, okay, somebody, because it was that clear. Like there was no distinct, like there was a distinction of, okay, somebody tapped me on the shoulder, like, hey, get out of my way. And there was nobody there. And that was the first time I really knew that I was like, okay, they have the abilities to do this. So I'm just going to be nice.
At least they tapped you on the shoulder to ask you to move and didn't just go through you.
Oh.
I felt that before, that coldness.
Oh, yeah.
In it. And that the cold is a different kind of cold.
Oh, definitely.
It's
without a doubt.
Bone chilling cold, but even worse than that. Because being at the creeper, there's a lot of energies in there due to, like, that's not a big space where that was anyway. So there's a lot of that space over there has just a small amount. Yours is a larger, so the energy is totally different, and the collections of things is totally different because of what you get in. So I get it.
Absolutely. No matter who you are, no matter what place you own, no matter what you collect, the energy is always going to be completely different to each and own person too, because like you might get something in that doesn't necessarily like you.
Right.
Or it doesn't come out for you.
It doesn't come out for you. I've seen it. Sometimes I've given certain objects 6 months and they finally start to warm up, where I'm like, okay, this thing is definitely not, spirited. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, all right, I'm kind of here. Like, I start to trust you. Let's see where this goes, and it's a relationship.
There's even people that I think sometimes kind of block it. We did we do a monthly divination club here. And a couple months ago, we did a session. It was necromancy. We keep talking about necromancy. We're not raising the dead. We're communicating with the dead. Just for,
I say we raise the dead and call it a day.
I second that one.
But we had, we're pretty active in here, and nobody would communicate with us.
Right.
And it was just like echoes. Like,
yeah. We either people have been touched, pulled, you feel the coldness, you hear noises. We've seen Black Cat.
Many of us have seen.
I got a hug in the back when we first got here.
The mirror.
The mirror.
In the
You could see things in the mirror.
It's like somebody's like using
someone
the mirror.
just going like this in the mirror. It's kind of weird. But the whole thing, and then you have people come, and other people have said things, but then overall, it's like it's there. You know that people are here because we're here all the time. And then the next thing you know, it's not, it's not really, they're doing investigations and they don't hear it or no one sees it.
Right. We get that all the time too. Like I said, the few investigative teams that we've allowed in, they've always all caught something. It's a very active location. They've always caught something, but it's kind of cool because, again, it stems back to that person how their technique is, what they're asking, when they're asking it, the day,
Right.
the time, the night, the week, the day, whatever.
Right. It's also personality. Someone
Yeah.
connects with someone more than another.
Right. Like I had one team that was just in, and he put it on YouTube, and they caught two of the coolest shadow figures ever right at the piercing room door. And it went on for about 15 minutes of these two shadow figures, and
Wow.
nobody else was in there, almost like they were arguing. And then they kind of formed into one thing, and it was the wildest thing. But he also caught a music box sound upstairs with just a static cam. So he caught it without actually physically talking to them. We've had other groups. I had another lady who was just in there, and she wasn't even finished setting up. And it's actually on our Satan's Riot page, where you hear it clear as day say, "Mama." Creepy as shit. She didn't hear it at the time, but she goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe I got this."
Right.
But she also works with haunted objects as well, which is kind of cool because I knew that she gets down and dirty and she understands, especially the children, the ones that are children. She knows how to, it's weird to talk to a doll. Yes, it is. It's an inanimate object, but
Is it?
I don't look at them right. I don't look at them as that. I look at them as I'm talking to somebody. They're
Right.
just using this to be inside or,
Yeah.
hold as a vessel. And, we've had other investigators where they see orbs all night. And we catch them all the time on our static cams at nighttime, our rings, our blanks. I mean, they go off constantly at night. I have to keep my phone on silent.
Right.
But we've had other investigators that didn't see a single orb. So it's always different for every time somebody comes in. You're never going to get the same thing twice. But it adds to the validity.
I just want to say, Rachel's comment there. I usually feel spirits around my antique clocks. I wonder what that is. Like, I wonder why the clocks. And I would love to talk with Rachel more about that.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, like, I get it, but not everybody's a very good investigator.
And not everybody's connected.
And not everybody's connected. So I get that. But, well, I don't want to take up more of your time. I know you got to get up early.
Yeah, before we go, do you have any special events or anything coming up that you want to mention? Do you have anything going on?
No, not right now. Right now we're just kind of laying low. We just had an event for the animal shelter, which we raised.
Oh, that's sweet.
Great. And we got some animals and pups adopted and cats. So that was really great. That was on Valentine's Day. But for right now, I think we're just gonna lay low a little bit. I'm even holding off on investigative teams coming in right now because I need to bring a balance back to the studio. We had so many in a small amount of time that even these guys are like, yo, enough. Like, we need some rest time. And I think that that's only fair. So right now we're just going to kind of lie low. We're just going to play the field, do our tattoos. It's coming up on tax season. So we're going to be very busy with tattoos and piercings. So right now that's where all of my effort and brain power has to go.
So we're all doing their taxes right now. So
Yes.
we're all taking a break.
Pretty much.
Yeah, then when they get their tax money, they're all going to get tattoos.
And it's
That's what I'm
glitter
doing
for everyone.
too.
So they could go to your website to book. Is it like
yeah, so they can go to the website. They can go to the Instagram. Myself, I only book my tattoos in person only because I want to know the person. I want to talk to that person. I can't do this young people crap where it's like Messenger and booking through Messenger because you know what I noticed? There's too many variables and too many times to make a mistake as to what the person wants. So I do all of my consults only in person.
Right.
Now the other two girls, they do all of their consults via their Messenger because they're young and they can do that and handle it. But to check out all of our work and the different styles, you can go to conventtattoo.com. You can go to the Convent Tattoo Instagram, the Facebook. I have my own personal Facebook, Sophie _Convent. And we also have one that's called Satan's _Riot. If that's where I put up all the oddities that we get in, all the haunted stuff, me working with the vessels. So that one's particularly just for that subject matter.
Cool.
Well, I mean, any one of the girls are amazing.
They are.
They were so sweet to me, and I really I appreciate that. They were so cool. You felt like you knew them.
Yes.
Like you felt like you were just part of the group, which is great. And whenever I get a tattoo, I would love to have you do it. I'm just letting you know that. So someone's getting a piercing by you on Friday.
Oh, cool. We'll see you then.
It says Elizabeth.
Yeah,
And
Elizabeth.
yes, piercings you can book over the phone with me.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Body piercers. So piercings, I always book over the phone. But the tattoos, personally for me, I always do in person.
Gotcha.
Well,
All right. Ghosts. I need ghosts.
yeah, we
Lots
love
of
love the
ghosts.
fact.
We'll do plenty of ghosts. Get Danny.
Absolutely. But we have to get together, all
We
of us.
do. We do.
Yeah. We'll come up to you. Maybe we could go grab some drinks and dinner with the girls.
That would be
And,
amazing. I miss you guys.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your evening with us.
Anytime.
Excellent. Well, we will have you back.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe we can. Oh, we can't film it when we're tattooing. Or,
No.
oh,
no.
okay. No,
No, you're
okay.
just getting crazy now.
If you want.
Oh, we
We can
could.
work something out. We can little tripod, do a little session
That's
from
not
the
happening.
They'll make fun of me even more.
You're screaming.
Yeah.
Ow. Well, thank you so much. We have your information running down the bottom, and we will post all of your Instagram and all that stuff along with this video too when we post it up. And we're also, just so everybody else knows, we are now on YouTube.
Yes.
And we also are distributing the audio only on Spreaker.
Okay.
So there's going to be audio. That's why I was reading the comments, so people that listen on Spreaker can hear the comments.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
is
smart
good.
that way sometimes.
And like we're just trying to put out there and forward and do some really great things with some great people such as yourself. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rachel.
Oh, you're fun to make. Yes, absolutely, Rachel. But yes, I think that it's great to have you on. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And any tattoo or piercing needs, and you're in the area, please come.
New Jersey,
And
Deptford, New Jersey.
Well, you can come from New Jersey. You can come from anywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's a tour de France.
Oh, geez.
That's my new thing.
That's his new phrase for everything.
Everything's a tour de something. So there you go.
It's a tour de parlor.
You wouldn't be, trust me, if you ever go with the personality and the technique of the tattoo or the body piercing and the experience, you will not be wrong going to the Convent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. So
Bye, guys.
see you guys next time on Parlour Tea.
Parlour Tea.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.